there's more to a relationship than just money, right?
Hmm.
So what would you say to people that would say that the statistically the biggest reason for breakups and divorces have something to do with money? So if a relationship is not about money, what would you say about that?
So a relationship does involve money. You've said it. Some causes of breakup is financial, definitely, communication, definitely, and funny enough, sex or lack of can be an issue as well. So, but it's not the most important thing, those three things, even though they're very important in a relationship. I think it's the position that you give them in the relationship is what makes them important or not important. Being able to make a living is important, more important than just having money. Being able to make a living. I'll give you an example. If you're in a relationship where one person is working and the other person isn't, it doesn't necessarily mean that that relationship cannot work. It's more to do with how they communicate and how they share what they do have, because somebody might be in a contractual situation where they're not always working. And also, even when somebody is working, are they contributing towards the cost of that relationship and the future? I'm coming from a traditional background, which I personally feel we need to move away from, where the man traditionally pays for things in every sense of the word. This puts undue pressure on the relationship. So, if we're saying that one of the causes of breakup is money, it could not be because there's a lack of money in the relationship. It could be the distribution of the money in the relationship that's the problem. One person might be squandering the money while another person is making sure that the household is running. Typically, there's a saying that goes, "What is yours is mine, but what is mine."
Right.
So the woman is the one usually that is what is mine, but what is yours is ours. That unfortunately will not make for a good relationship. So these are some of these thinking that we have to really examine. And I call it stinking thinking, to be honest with you, because it doesn't work in this modern paradigm. It's an old way of being. We live in a totally different kind of world now, and we have to make it fairer and equitable in a relationship so that the one that has the money or earns more of the money can share with the one that isn't earning as much, so that the relationship can be equitable. So that's one of the problems with that. And with the sex, I mean, I'm in the age bracket now where I'm going through menopause. So sometimes I don't feel like having sex. But my partner, my husband, has to understand this season of my life. And in order to help him to understand that, we need to talk about it, which is where the communication comes in. And just because I don't always want to have sex doesn't mean that I won't have the sex. I may have to have an understanding where, in spite of not feeling like having sex, I will have sex with him because he needs it. We have to be able to supply each other's need to make sure that our relationship is sustainable. So it's having that understanding. But that's me being in a marriage and in a secure relationship. However, I'm not saying that sex is where a relationship should start, because when you're looking for a soulmate, the connection has to be beyond the physical one. It has to go further. And a lot of soul searching, usually when you have been divorced especially, has to happen, because I had to do a lot of soul searching before I got to the point where I was ready. So thinking about sex, thinking about communication, these are the things that connect in a relationship to make it potential for soulmate, potential for companionship. You have to put aside some of those old ways of thinking, which a lot of us have been brought up on, unfortunately. And we listen to a lot of social media, most of the people, the things people are saying is not what they're living. They're just saying what is going to make them famous, what is going to make them rich, and what is going to make them, have influence in your life. But it doesn't necessarily make for a successful relationship. That's why I say that there's no shortage of men and women to connect to each other. But there seems to be this scarcity that is portrayed. Oh, there's a shortage of men. Oh, there's a shortage of women. But there isn't if you're looking at dating without borders. There is no shortage at all.